Have you ever witnessed something so incredible, so unbelievable, that it made you question everything you thought you knew? Today, we're diving deep into the world of documented miracles events that defy scientific explanation and challenge our understanding of reality. From bodies that refuse to decay to healings that leave doctors speechless, these stories are more than just folklore. They're backed by historical evidence and countless eyewitness accounts. So, buckle up, because we're about to explore the thin veil between the known and the unknowable. Let's start with a phenomenon that's both fascinating and a little eerie: incorruptibility. This is when a human body, after death, fails to decompose, sometimes for centuries, without any artificial preservation. One of the most famous examples is Saint Bernadette Soubirous. She's the young girl who reported visions of the Virgin Mary in Lourdes, France, back in 1858. After her death in 1879, her body was exhumed multiple times, first in 1909, 30 years later. To everyone's astonishment, she was found to be perfectly preserved. Her skin was intact, her features recognizable. Even today, over 140 years after her death, her body lies in a glass casket in Nevers, France, looking as if she's merely sleeping. Scientists have examined her case, and while various theories have been proposed, none fully explain how her body has resisted natural decay for so long, especially given the damp conditions of her initial burial. And Saint Bernadette isn't alone. There are over 250 similar cases recognized by the Catholic Church, each one a puzzle. Take Saint Catherine Labour, who died in 1876. When her tomb was opened 57 years later, her body was found to be completely flexible, and her eyes were as blue as the day she died. These aren't mummies, dried out and brittle. These are bodies that remain soft and lifelike, defying the fundamental laws of biology. How is this possible? Is it a rare, unexplained natural process, or something else entirely? The mystery remains, inviting us to wonder about the limits of our scientific knowledge. Now, let's shift from the preserved to the restored. We're talking about medically inexplicable healings. These are cases where people suffering from incurable diseases suddenly and completely recover, with no medical intervention that can account for the change. The Medical Bureau of the Sanctuary of Our Lady of Lourdes in France has meticulously documented thousands of reported healings since the 1850s. However, they have a famously strict set of criteria. To be declared an official miracle, the illness must be serious and impossible to cure by human means. The healing must be sudden, complete, and permanent. Out of over 7,500 claims, only 70 have been officially recognized as miracles by the Catholic Church. One of the most compelling is the case of Vittorio Michele, an Italian soldier. In 1962, he was suffering from a massive tumor on his left hip bone, a type of cancer called a sarcoma. The bone was practically disintegrated. X-rays from the time are chilling. You can see the bone has essentially vanished. With no hope left, he went on a pilgrimage to Lourdes. He was bathed in the spring water there. Over the next few months, something incredible happened. He started feeling better, he regained his appetite, and his pain disappeared. When doctors took new X-rays, they were stunned. His hip bone had completely regrown. There was no trace of the tumor. The medical commission that reviewed his case, which included oncologists and radiologists, concluded there was no scientific explanation. He lived a healthy life for decades afterward, a walking testament to a healing that medicine simply cannot explain. Another powerful story is that of Sister Marie Simon-Pierre. In 2001, she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, the same illness that affected Pope John Paul II. Her condition deteriorated rapidly. By 2005, her left side was rigid, she could barely write, and she was in constant pain. Her fellow nuns began to pray for the intercession of the recently deceased Pope John Paul II. On the night of June 2, 2005, 2 months after the Pope's death, she felt an overwhelming urge to write. To her amazement, her handwriting was suddenly clear and fluid again. She woke up the next morning feeling completely different. Her tremors were gone. Her body was no longer stiff. Her neurologist examined her and confirmed she no longer showed any symptoms of Parkinson's disease. After years of investigation, the Vatican officially recognized her recovery as a miracle, leading to the beatification of Pope John Paul II. How does a progressive, degenerative neurological disease just vanish overnight? It's a profound question that challenges the very foundations of medical science. Beyond the human body, miracles have also been reported in the skies above. Let's travel back to October 13, 1917, in Fatima, Portugal. 3 young shepherd children had been reporting apparitions of the Virgin Mary for months, and they claimed that on this day, a great miracle would occur. A massive crowd, estimated between 30,000 and 100,000 people, gathered in a field despite a torrential downpour. These weren't just devout believers. The crowd included journalists, skeptics, and scientists, all eager to witness or debunk the prophecy. Around noon, the rain stopped and the clouds parted. According to countless eyewitness accounts, the sun appeared as a spinning, silver disk. It began to dance in the sky, casting multicolored lights across the landscape and the crowd. Then, it seemed to hurtle towards the earth, terrifying the onlookers who thought it was the end of the world. After about 10 minutes, the sun returned to its normal place in the sky. Perhaps most bizarrely, many people reported that their soaking wet clothes were suddenly and completely dry. What could explain this? Mass hallucination is a common theory, but it is hard to imagine tens of thousands of people from different backgrounds hallucinating the exact same sequence of events, including the drying of their clothes. An atmospheric phenomenon, perhaps, but no astronomical observatory in the world reported anything unusual about the sun that day. Avelino de Almeida, the chief editor of a major secular, anti-clerical Lisbon newspaper, was there. He had written articles mocking the events at Fatima before, but after what he saw, he wrote a front-page article titled Amazing Things. How the sun danced at midday in Fatima, his testimony, and that of many other skeptics, adds a layer of credibility that's hard to dismiss. The miracle of the sun remains one of the most widely witnessed and best documented supernatural events in history. Another category of miracles involves sustenance, or the ability to live without food. For most of us, going a few days without eating is a struggle, but history records individuals who allegedly lived for years, even decades, on nothing but the Eucharist, the communion wafer. One such person was Therese Neumann, a German woman who lived from 1898 to 1962. Following a series of accidents in her early 20s, she became bedridden, blind, and partially paralyzed. Then, in 1925, she was suddenly healed. But what followed was even more extraordinary. From that point until her death 36 years later, she claimed to consume no food or drink other than a single, small communion wafer each day. Naturally, this claim drew immense skepticism. So, in 1927, she agreed to be observed. Under the strict supervision of a doctor and for nurses, she was monitored 24/7 for 15 days. They watched her every move. At the end of the 2 weeks, the medical report confirmed she had consumed nothing except one wafer a day, and she had not lost any significant weight. Her health remained stable. This defies basic human physiology. A person can only survive a few days without water and a few weeks without food. How could she live for 36 years? Skeptics have suggested it was an elaborate fraud, that she must have been secretly eating. But how could she have fooled a team of medical professionals watching her around the clock? The case of Therese Neumann, like so many others, leaves us with more questions than answers. So, what do we make of all this? Science is a powerful tool for understanding the world, but it operates on the principle of reproducibility. It explains the predictable, the repeatable. Miracles, by their very nature, are singular, unpredictable events that break the established rules. They don't fit neatly into a scientific framework. When a doctor sees a bone that has completely regrown or a degenerative disease that has vanished, they can confirm the before and after, but they can't explain the how. When thousands of people see the sun dance in the sky, they can describe the event, but they can't replicate it in a lab. This doesn't necessarily mean science and miracles are enemies. Many scientists throughout history have been people of deep faith. They see science as the study of God's normal, everyday work, while miracles are moments when the rules are suspended for a specific purpose. It's like an author writing a story. They establish the rules of their world, but they can write in a plot twist at any moment. These stories of incorruptible saints, sudden healings, and celestial wonders serve a purpose beyond just baffling scientists. They invite us to be humble, to acknowledge that there might be more to reality than what we can measure and observe. They challenge us to look beyond the material world and consider the possibility of a higher power, a deeper meaning. Whether you see them as divine interventions, unexplained natural phenomena, or elaborate hoaxes, these documented events have shaped history and influenced the lives of millions. They remind us that the universe is full of mystery and wonder, and that sometimes the most profound truths lie just beyond the edge of our understanding. What do you think? Have you ever experienced something you couldn't explain? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the extraordinary. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the unknown. See you next time.